Yo. So what you saying, guys? This is Aaron, man. I am one of the traders at Davinci FX. And yeah, man, I'm just going to walk you through what I'm doing. I'm going to walk you through a trade I took on UJ, which is the trade that I promised for you guys this week. And yeah, so I'm literally just going to walk you through how I took it and my mindset behind it. And yeah, man, just the whole process just to give you guys an insight on what I was doing. So yeah, let me just start off by going to the weekly, man. All right, and this is a good point because this is where I literally form all my trades off. I always form them off the weekly levels, daily levels, because these are always the most important levels, guys, that you should be looking to form your trades off. As much as hourly, 15-minute, 5-minute, 1-minute charts are good for entries, I don't personally use them for building a trade bias. All my trading bias is done on the high time frame charts, and the reason for this is because this is essentially where price is going to show you where it wants to go. You know, this is the time frame that you're most likely going to get a good indication on where you should be targeting, what key levels you should be looking for, and it's the best way to kind of formulate your trades, man. So this week we had a lot of dollar strength right this week, which led me to believe that UJ would be bullish. And this was kind of confirmed by coming into this weekly block. Let me draw that for you. So price came into a weekly block right here. And once it did, I initially drew out this level thinking, great, it's coming to our weekly block now. And it also came into our daily breaker, right? So I trade by breakers, I trade by blocks, it is ICT stuff. You guys can call it something different. That's the terminology that I use, but it's all the same shit. It's just a support and resistance, man. So this is the level of support that I was using to base this trade off initially. This is a daily level, so it's a higher time frame level, it's a key level. And it's also inside a weekly level, which strengthens it. So if we go to here now, you can see that we had a big, nice, positive reaction of this level, right? A nice reaction of that. So what I did is that once I knew that price is coming to the weekly level, my initial target when I was formulating this trade was just this bearish breaker. And the reason why I had this target is because price was heavily bearish. So I didn't really want to target this high and these subsequent highs initially. This is just mainly because I wanted to make sure and get a confirmation that price was bullish completely first. So I thought it was best just to take a smaller target, which was this bearish block here, and then use that as a pivot level. So take profits there, and once I've taken profits, then I'd wait to see if price broke above this high, which it did, and then came and cancelled in here. So that was the mindset that I had going into this. So what I initially did was wait for a total sweep of this low. So a total super swing, swing failure pattern is essentially the same thing, but what it really means is that liquidity below this low was taken. So orders residing below this low in stops and limits, they were all liquidated and price rejected up, and this is to take those people out of the market. So when this happens, this gave me an indication that there is no need for price to go below this level because it's fulfilled its objective. So once I knew that was in, that indicated that the low also was in, at least for the time being. So the next thing that I did was stalk out an entry. And what I was going to initially do is wait for this level here to be broken. So I marked that higher and I thought, all right, great, if we get a break of this high, retest, boom, back into this level, and that would have been fine. I would have got entry of that. But what price did first is it came in, we had a big bullish movement upwards, and then it retested this 4-hour level here, right? So what this indicated to me was that this level held. After this level held, I thought, all right, great. This indicates that this low is in. Why? Because it's taken out liquidity, it's met its objective, it's come to a weekly and a daily level, and the 4-hour level has now just been holding. So once this kind of occurred to me, I was like, great. I didn't necessarily need a break at this high. So what I then did is, as you can see, I marked out the body of this 4-hour block, and this is where I was stalking an entry next. And the reason behind this is just literally because I had the confirmation I needed. Usually I will wait for a break in market structure. Technically I should wait for that, but you know, I had the confirmation I needed this time, so I went with that. So I marked out the body of this 4-hour block, and what I did is just waited for price to scale back down into this level, and as you can see, that's exactly what it did. So this was the 4-hour level, and if we're going to refine this down now to an hourly level, this was the hourly level that I was looking for price to react off. Why? Because it is inside the 4-hour level, it's inside the daily level, which is marked out by this grey area, and the week level. So the way I entered this trade was I waited for, as you can see, price retested that area here. We've got that's the initial rejection upwards. Price came down, formed a block, retested that block, and then went on to break a intermediate high right here. Come on. All right. You guys get where I'm coming from. This is the high that I'm talking about. This thing really was a screw my day up, man. All right. This is the high that I'm talking about, this level here, right? So as you can see, price broke above, and what I would class as break above is when the candles themselves break above. You can get wicks that wick through level, but for me, that's just liquidity being taken. If price really wants to go higher, what you'll usually see is a break and a close of the candle, and then a retest of the area that it wants to pivot from, i.e. this hourly block, right? So once I got that, I was like, great. I went down expecting price to find support in this block, but what it did is that it took the liquidity below these lows. And before this happened, I thought, oh shit, like what's it gonna do? Is it gonna go down and reverse? Or I wasn't really sure what it was gonna do, but because I got a rejection off that block, as you can see, price took liquidity into a bullish order block, and this is a strong setup for me. If I see this, that gives me a lot more confidence, because I now know that I've got two pieces of confluence. One, that price is taking out the lows, so it's taking liquidity, and another that is coming to a bullish block, and I am expecting price to go upwards. So this was a very strong signal that there would be longs. So all I really did then was I just simply went down to a lower time frame, as you can see. This is the 50-minute time frame. I usually use 15-minute just to give me, this is like the lower time frame that I would use just to give me an idea of what price is doing, and then I'll go down to a 5-minute. But as you can see, price came down into a 50-minute breaker after taking out these lows. And I know a lot of people say that this candle is an extremely small candle, or why are you using this level as a demand area? The reason why is because what I find is that with candles themselves, the smaller the candle is, a friend told me this, the smaller candle is, the bigger a reaction you get off it usually. And that is crazy. At first I thought it's always the more beefier candles that you get better moves off, but a lot of the time you just see price do madness off one candle, and you just sit there and think, how am I getting finessed by the market? But you've got to understand it's the same concept of contraction expansion. So when you get price contracting in a small area, the smaller the contraction, the bigger the expansion. It's the same concept you're using with demand levels and with candles. It's exactly the same thing. So, this is a good way to kind of refine your entries. Just go on the weekly, go to the daily, go down your time frames and really refine what you're doing, because it'll give you a lot more precision in in the trades that you're taking, and your R will be a lot better. So once I had marked out my breaker and price had taken out the low and come into that area, I then went down to a 5-minute time frame, and this is where I really got my entry. So as you guys can see, price came into this area, 15-minute, 5-minute breaker, and as you can see, we've got a positive reaction back up after stops were taken underneath that low. So all I did then is wait for price to retest it, and I got in on the second retest. And I put my stops literally, I literally used the wick of this block because I wanted to get in, and I didn't want the spread to mean I didn't get to the trades, because I've done that before, trying to get in too perfectly with like a 2-pip spread, 2-pip stop, right, and literally just have the spread as my stop and not compensate for that. And a lot of the time I will miss the move because price may literally wick the top of that and fly off, especially if this is a lower time frame and a 5-minute time frame like that as well. So yeah, man, this is how I basically did it. I got in on a 5-minute look, as you can see, put my stop below this low. And initially I had a target of this high, right? And the reason why I say this is because as much as I like to hold my trades, as much as I like to, milk what I'm doing, I do like to shape a profit. So I think I took about 50% off at the high just because I knew that there'll be another point to get in. I knew that I could get in at another point if I wanted to, especially when you understand what price is doing and you know where it's going. All you've got to do is just scale in and wait for retracement. And it's not that difficult. It just requires a lot of patience, man. But yeah, so once you really know where price is going, it's not so much of an issue of getting in. It's more of an issue of just managing the trades that you're in. So I took about 50% off of that high, right? I'll just stick that in. And the reason for this is just to lock in some profits. And I think, once you've taken profits off one of your positions, it gives you a lot more confidence in, continuing with your trade. And it's really good for your psychology, especially as a new trader. You kind of want to do this when you start. Don't be holding your trades for like mad targets and thinking you're going to hit like 200, 300, 400 pip targets with like a 5-pip stop loss. Yes, you can do that, but nothing is guaranteed, man. Sometimes you might get your ass handed to you on a platter, and you don't want to. You want to make sure that you've at least taken something off before this happened. You feel me? So I took about 50% off that, and then all I did is just aim for subsequent highs, man. That's all I did really. So I took about 50% off that high, and then the next target I had was this level here. Why? Because that is a bearish block, and this would fill in the fair value gap. And what I mean by fair value gap is voids in price. So these are essentially big sharp moves in price where price has moved very quickly away from a level. For example, here you've got a very small contraction and then a massive expansion to the downside. So when I'm trading, when I see these in the direction I'm trying to trade in, this is a good set of confidence as well for understanding where price wants to reach for. So I always expect these levels to be filled in when order flow is in that direction, because there's a lot of orders residing in these levels that, when price moves quickly away from these levels, people will have orders sitting in these levels waiting to be filled. So, banks, institutions, they will want to take price up into these levels to liquidate these people and take them out of the trade so that they can put themselves in trade. So that's the kind of point. So that's why I had that level marked out initially. And I also had a bigger daily level, as this is the first level I showed you guys. I had this daily level marked out as well. And those are my 3 targets really. I think I left about, let me think. I think I left about a good 20% on for that daily high, or that daily level, sorry. I left about 20% on to hit that level. Then I took around 30% off at this level. So yeah, as much as I did, post on my Snap and I posted on my Instagram and I think on my Twitter as well, that I took a 10R, I did, but I did leave some, on to hit further targets. And I think that's a good way. If you split your position, then you can actually be comfortable in the trades you're taking, because you know that you've taken some off, you know that you've banked some money there, and then it gives you more confidence to leave your trades on to hit your extended targets. And then, sometimes these targets here, this target here made, that 20% I left on to touch that target literally made the money that, literally made the 50% that I took off from that low to that high. It's mad. So sometimes leaving that 20% on can actually work wonders for you. And I think this is a good way to, get the most out of the trades that you're taking, man. You know what I mean? You don't need to take a lot of trades a week. I literally say take around 1 to 2. Try and catch the weekly range if you can, or at least a good chunk of it, and just maximize the trades you're doing, man. It's always quality over quantity with this stuff. You don't need to be taking, 10, 20, 30 trades a week. That's just not going to be good for your psychology, man. So make sure that you're always trying to max out your trades, man. All right. I wouldn't say hold in for the absolute maddest entry or the maddest target, but scale out your trades and just be smart about what you're doing, man. And it'll definitely pay you. So yeah, I think I did try and add another position on as well, and that was an issue. I think price swerved me, man. But I'll show you guys. So yeah, this is another position I tried to add on. So once I knew that price was bullish, I used this level. Let me just get rid of that quickly for you guys. I wanted to use this you know, this breaker as support, which obviously you can see price did come down here, and it sat at the body of that breaker and literally shot off. What I was looking for was a retest of this level. You know, obviously hindsight now, yeah, it would have been good to get in and, you know, use of this breaker. But a lot of the time what I find is that it's better if you wait for confirmation that that level will hold, because a lot of the time it might not. And I think it's a lot better if you wait for that level to be held and then wait for this block or the subsequent blocks to get an entry from. So I think I had a limit on here on the body, and I was being a bit cheeky with this one. I was trying to get a stupid R. As you can see, if it hit that daily level, that would have been 23 R just from this one position. But as you can see, price didn't come back down to the body of that block. It didn't even come back down to the wick of it. And that's where I would have got in or got my entry in. So yeah, I did miss that position, but you know, sometimes the game's the game, man. You're not going to get everything. As much as you try, as much as you want to, you just got to do what you can and make the most out of the trades that you've got, man. You know what I mean? But yeah, so that's a position that I did miss, but I still closed it for a good 10-hour trade. I left a bit to run and I closed it later, so it was definitely worth it, man. I've only taken, you know, UJ, and I've taken the trade on cable as well, which I will do a review on also this week. And literally those are the only 2 trades I've taken, man. And you know, I banked almost 20 hours this week just off those 2 trades. So yeah, definitely guys, stick with the higher time frame bias and just scale into your trades, man. I think that's the best thing you can do. Start on the daily, work your way down the time frames, and once you've done that, then just look to get a good entry. And once you have that entry, manage your trade well, man. And I think if you can do that, then you would definitely be on the way to being profitable and consistently making money, man. You know what I mean? Anyone can do technical analysis, but to manage your trade properly, to not give in to yourself when you think you should be taking profits too early, and you know, I think that's the real skill, and that does come with time, but you can definitely do it. You can all definitely do that, man. So go for it and definitely stick with it. In regards to where this is going next, I'm looking for, well, personally, I was looking for this daily block or this daily breaker to hold. And this is the area that I was going to use. But as you can see, price, and I think I refined this down to a 4-hour level or 4-hour break, and this is the level I wanted price to hold at. But as you can see, price has just bodied this block. It literally just bodied through this block. So the next level of support I'm really looking for price to actually test is probably going to be this breaker and this 4-hour block. So this is the level that I want price to come into. I'm going to see if we find support here. If price comes and finds support here, then I will look for an entry on a lower time frame and just literally trade this the same way I traded the other thing. Wait for an entry on a 4-hour and then target this high. Let me get rid of that quickly for you guys. Target this high here initially, and then target this subsequent high, and so on and so on. As you can see here, you know, we've got numerous highs of this. We've got, you know, avoid that price should also go and fill. And yeah, I mean, that's what I'll be really looking for next week. And I think it's I say most likely, it's likely to happen if the dollar's bullish. If the dollar takes out this high, then I think it's definitely likely to happen. But, you know, I'm just going to literally wait and see, wait for Monday to give me some sort of directional premise and some sort of confirmation on what I think is going to happen, and then I'll literally just act from there, man. But yeah, in terms of this, I think the next level of support we can reasonably expect price to find is around the 105.70 level. I would say that area is a good level to start looking for long positions. But first of all, you want price to fill in this liquidity, because there's going to be a lot of liquidity in this level, especially from all the longs this week, and a lot of people that still have resigning orders. The banks are going to want to just liquidate that shit, man. They want to get rid of you guys before they take price higher. So just, yeah, go into this week with caution. Let price show you what it wants to do, and then make a decision based on what you've seen and based on the information that has been given to you. And I think that's the best way you can go ahead with it. So yeah, man, I hope you guys find this great. I hope you find it informational. I hope you got something from it. And if you want me to do any more reviews, just give me a shout. Hit me from the DMs, like and subscribe, man. All right, I'm out, guys, man. Peace.